this Bruce Lee documentary really surprised me. AAA here, and I am reviewing 30 for 30 Be Water, the new Bruce Lee documentary by ESPN that is currently streaming. Now, I wasn't sure going in to watch this documentary that I would even like it. Primarily because as a lifelong Bruce Lee fan, being an Asian action actor myself, I've seen a lot of past documentaries about the man. I have all of his books, I'm pretty sure. I've read all of them several times. So I know quite a bit about the individual known as Bruce Lee. So I wasn't sure that this brand new documentary from ESPN would bring anything new to the table that I would be interested in. Colored me extremely surprised that it did. One of the things that this documentary does extremely well is how thorough it is, especially in terms of who they interview and how many people they interview that, of course, have been a part of Bruce Lee's life, both big and small. And they're the usual suspects, including, of course, his wife, Linda, and his daughter, Shannon. But this documentary even includes interviews from people who I've never seen or heard of before. I'm pretty sure, including his very first martial arts students and even an ex-girlfriend of his.
You know, the thing is, I don't think we could ever forget what we are. Because of what we look like, we can never walk away from that.
The pacing of this documentary is excellent. It chronicles the events from Bruce Lee's birth to the aftermath of his death and how it affected the people close to him and the world overall, because he was such a gigantic figure at the time of his death. It tackles all of these events in a very engaging fashion and never really drags on or becomes boring at any one point, in my opinion. It presents a very good overview of Hong Kong and the United States, both politically and culturally at the time, from Bruce Lee's childhood up until he became very famous. And what this does is it really puts you in Bruce Lee's shoes and shows you quite accurately how it must have been for someone like him to live during this era.
China had been dominated and humiliated by the West for about 100 years. So there's a lot of memories, a lot of anger.
Since Bruce does spend a good deal of his time growing up and living in the United States, the documentary does delve a good deal into Asian racism in the US at the time.
Kind gentleman, pleased to introduce myself.
Hollywood had always treated Asian people in blatantly racist ways.
Got 39 chapters, huh? No, stacked like pagoda.
What this does is it shows you the struggles Bruce Lee must have gone through living in the United States during this time, and what he must have faced in Hollywood trying to get cast in better roles, trying to bring awareness to the Chinese martial arts and Asian actors in general, and why he ultimately had to return to Hong Kong after a while.
He felt the sting of being rejected. Bruce was just crushed. He couldn't understand it. So why? I mean, he was so hurt and just disgusted with the whole system.
It truly does feel that you are going through the highs and lows of Bruce's life along with him, making you truly feel for Bruce when he does go through something major. In the end, the documentary gives a lovely and positive message about making the most out of and giving value to oneself, just like Bruce Lee did, which I'm sure that literally all of us can learn from. So, I feel that this documentary is a very good introduction to Bruce Lee to those who may not be that familiar with him, but also very worthwhile viewing to those that have followed the man throughout his entire career and beyond, such as myself, as it does present a very unique point of view and shows many facets of Bruce Lee's life that many lifelong fans may not have even heard of or are familiar with.
Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now water can flow, or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
So, I have to give 30 for 30, Be Water, ESPN's brand new documentary about Bruce Lee, a 9 out of 10. It's an almost perfect Bruce Lee documentary, in my opinion. And that comes as high praise for a huge fan of Bruce Lee like myself and another Asian action actor. So, this has been Asian Action Actor. If you like this review of 30 for 30 Be Water, please click like down below and subscribe to see more of my awesome contents and check out some more of my awesome movie reviews.